What is happening, fishing friends? Welcome to another episode. Yes, I got a box. You know what that means. Unboxing time. It's a little bit different one. This is from Xzone Lures. You've probably seen some of their stuff, heard of them. In the past, I had picked up some stuff. I had the most success on these, not the 309 color, but the just the regular green pumpkin. Ordered some of their stuff. I saw they had some new stuff out, but these are the little Ned deals. What do they call these? The Ned Zone, little 3-inch Ned Zone deal. Those are pretty sweet. If you haven't checked those out, I liked them. Really cool profile. Just the straight green pumpkin here in Iowa kicked butt. But I seen they had some new stuff up there on Instagram, on the website. So I put in an order and I got a few things. So number one, the thing I was most excited to get, what do they call these? The 4.25-inch adrenaline bug. Now with all my unboxings, I'm going to show you what I got and kind of how I plan on using each one. I know that really helps a lot of people out. So, okay, so you can see they're kind of your normal craw design. Now I broke these apart. These do come together. You can see it does have a little flange or edge on the edge, so these are going to kick. They've also got ripples going down the actual claws. So there's going to be a bunch of really good movement out of those bottom little claw deals. You can see this is black on top and like purple to flake on the bottom. Did you say bottom? Black and purple is really underrated in my opinion. I know, you know, kind of black and blue is the go-to for everyone, but I honestly prefer black and purple. And this is one of the main reasons I wanted to put in an order, because these things look so dang juicy. Now, you can see they have the little leg things there, so those are going to displace a little bit of water, but the thing I like is when you look at the end of the plastic, okay? Now, normally you're gonna rig these like this, right? Whether I'm Texas rigging it, using it as a jig trailer. But one thing a lot of guys do with deals like this, like the Rage Menace, is put them sideways. The flappers are like this, coming out of the back of a swim jig, and you can swim it. It looks like, you know, fins of a fish's tail. So rig it that way, and you can see what they've done with the nose of it. They have it so you can rig it either way. It doesn't get real skinny to one end. I notice a lot of companies have that and you get kind of ripped if you try to switch around, but this one, not a problem. You've got enough meat both ways on there, rigging it that way or that way, you can see. No problem either way. So I really like the shape of this, the profile. They do have their own scent to it. What do they call the scent? Exclusive X formula scent. Super fine salt, but I mean, it looks great. I can't wait to get some of these babies wet, throw them around. I'm thinking Texas rig, jig trailer. You could drag this on a Carolina rig. The nice part about theirs is they do have the floating claw deal, so these claws are going to go up, but super cool looking little deal there. 4.25-inch adrenaline bug. I'm excited to throw those. Now I got that in the black and purple and also in green pumpkin. So mix and match that, ready to go. Okay, next up here, check out these guys. Now I feel like these are flying under the radar. So you all know I do like flukes. I don't throw them as much as I should, admittedly. But I hate flukes because you get the package and the tails are all messed up because like they're kind of stiff. Like it's a weird plastic that Zoom uses on it. I like these because they're super soft. So this is the 6-inch, is it Whiplash or Whiptail? Whiplash shad. So this is gonna mimic like your, you know, your Zoom fluke, almost a caffeine shad like combo. It's got that kind of fluke looking front part, but the back of it is like a, I don't know what you would call, almost like a drop shot worm tail. It goes real thin out towards the back there and kind of flattens out. As you can see from that angle, it kind of flattens out and tapers out. And I can imagine there being a ton of action in this. And the color on this thing is so sweet. So they call this the electric shad, and I can see why. It's kind of like a smoky gray up top. And look at all that blue glitter. Just looks super good. I can imagine on a sunny day, decently clear water, and it's kind of got that smoky, pearlishy. It's got pearl all through it. Just looks, it's a super sweet color. I think that'll definitely do some work around here in some of the clear waters we have. Like I've said before, I'm kind of blessed because I have a lot of different fisheries. I've got, you know, clear water reservoirs. I've got, you know, smaller man-made lakes that are, you know, full of brush, you know, flooded forests, grassy lakes. I've kind of got a little bit of everything. The fluke was something I threw more last year. This one I am super excited to throw. 6 inches, but it's not a big, crazy, bulking looking bait. Now, I also grabbed that same one in perch color. We have quite a few perch lakes around here, but in the ponds, I think this mimics a green sunfish pretty dang well. You know, bluegill, this kind of matches all that. That orangish belly, you know, that natural green pumpkinish, almost watermelon black, black flake through it. Did I just say black? What am I even talking about? But yeah, excited to throw those. The Whiplash shad. Moving right along, some worms. I like these finesse worms, you know, the Zoom finesse worm, the Grande Bass Airtail. There's a number of them out there. Now, the thing I like about these is they do have floating worms. So You know, on some of the companies like Zoom does have the really salty stuff that sinks, and it's got the stuff that floats. So a lot of companies, like, you kind of have to look and you're not sure. I like that they put on here whether it's like a floating formulation or not. So it's a floating finesse worm. This one's called Southern Sip. And it's kind of like a peanut butter jelly, but it kind of reminded me of almost like a spin-off of a Tequila Sunrise. You look at the back, kind of a dark black violet into that purple into the brown. I love the color. The shape is really neat. It almost reminds me of that, like, I forget what the KVD finesse worm is. It kind of has that bulbous tail like that. But this is like a flat pour. It's like a laminate. You can see there the bottom is flat. Super cool looking finesse worm. Looks great. You can see they've got some small ridges on there. I don't know that that will really displace any water, but I like just kind of how it gives you a different look and a different texture to it. Good stretch to it. Again, that scent on them, it's almost like a sweet yet garlicky, fishy. I'm not sure. I don't know. Smells good, but that color is sweet. So I got that one, and then a spin-off of one of my favorite colors, just a little bit different, and I really, really like this. This one they call Green Pumpkin June Bug, right? 6-inch MB fat finesse worm, if I didn't say that before. 6-inch MB fat finesse worm. Great looking profile to it, just a little bit bulkier than, you know, a real tiny, small, you know, like little finesse type deal. A little bit of bulk to it, but you can see there, June Bug, when the light hits it, it's that June Bug blue with the green flake in it on bottom. You flip it over, it's just your regular green pumpkin with black flake. I love like a black and blue green pumpkin laminate. This one, that's sweet. I like that color a lot. And I don't know of many places that do this. There's like kind of the Bama bug type thing that you'll see that's kind of a mix between this, but a very clear, distinct, you know, laminate, like double color pour. So those look really sweet. Everything they've made looks awesome, and that's my air compressor. Okay, the next one I had to pick up because this reminded me of the old days fishing in the boat with Pops. Now, if you already have watched my channel, you know my old man's favorite color by far is Tequila Sunrise for a ribbon tail worm. Mine, one of my favorite colors was red shad. That was kind of a color that I had success with early on. Pops kind of converted me over to the Tequila Sunrise, but this is a color you don't really hear people talking about, and it's a color that just straight up destroys them. It's a red belly, dark black back, and I'm thinking even throwing this during spring. Now, usually I'm not dragging a worm during spring, but you know, pre-spawn into spawn, but a lot of those fish, once they're coming up and you're hiding on cover and stuff, especially in your shallow ponds and such, they might all congregate around a piece of brush. So if they're not necessarily hitting you know, a lipless or something, I might try this. Now for me, a big 11-inch worm for sure is a summertime deal, right? Big worms in summertime go together like Debo and frog in summertime. But another great summertime thing is a big worm. Now this is the 11-inch Blitzworm. You did see me fish these this year. I picked up some of these in a tackle warehouse order, was throwing the black and blue, and I really liked them. Great look to it. I like it because it's got such a big ribbon tail on it. You can see there the ribbon tail itself is probably almost close to 6 inches, just the tail. Then you've got another like 5 inches for the actual body part. So I like that. You can throw a big, you know, 6-aught worm, 7-aught worm hook on here if you wanted. I mean, they're fish catchers. During the hot summer months, when those fish are getting lethargic and they're butted right up against that timber. I've told y'all before, find wood, pitch to wood. Well, find wood and put your big old ribbon tail worm like this around it, especially standing timber. Dragging a big ribbon tail worm like this around standing timber is killer. So I'm excited to throw that. I haven't thrown that color in quite some time. Pops, if you're watching, you probably remember me with the old red shad color. But again, it does show that it's floating on there. Solid looking ribbon tail worm. Okay, what do we have next? Oh yes, these looked really interesting. This is what they call the 6-inch true center stick. So yes, this is pretty much your, you know, your standard looking stick bait type deal, but the cool part about these is they give you the exact middle of the bait. They actually mark it there, so you know where the dead center 3 inches is. You can see that kind of rib deal. That's so you can wacky rig your bait, so you know exactly where it's at. I thought that was kind of cool, right? Now, is it gonna matter if you're a 1/2 inch off to one side or the other? But no, but you know, just so you know exactly where to put your ring, where to hook it, you've got the exact middle spot there. So I thought that was pretty neat. But a big 6-inch stick bait like this, I like this one because it's not like crazy big. Some of the, I think it's the Bass Pro Sticko, I wanna say they're 6 inches, like really thick. So it's just like a really big, crazy looking deal. Maybe it's even their 7-inch, I don't know, but For a 6-inch stick bait, I think it's got a really good shape to it. It's not too slender. It's not, you know, big, huge, round deal. I like it. What do they call this color? I didn't even check. Bumblebee. To me, it kind of reminded me of that bullfrog type deal, kind of that green pumpkinish, almost with a little bit of chartreuse through it, swirled in there, and then of course the black. So green pumpkinish black, little chartreuse, should be a pond killer around here. So I'm excited to try those out. Now you notice on these it doesn't say anything about floating, right? So of course it's a stick bait. You want these to sink a good fall rate, and of course those ends are gonna on the way down. This is the 5-inch. They make a 6, 5. I don't know if they make a 4. I just remember I got the 6 and 5-inch, but the 5-inch, you know, kind of your typical stick bait type size here. Really neat color. They call this one Natural Shad. My buddy Barth, if you're watching Barth, he threw a color similar to this, then one that was in like a worm color, I remember. It was back on the old wave worms is what they were. They don't make them anymore, but he said as an old man it was like a secret that he threw. And he threw them and he caught a bunch of bass one day out there on those. He said he's had good luck. But anyway, this color reminds me that it's like a smoky gray, what do they call it? Natural shad, like a smoky gray with black and gold silver flake through it. Just a real natural bait fish looking color. And actually, I was talking to a gentleman on one of my local lakes, said they were catching a ton of yellow bass on this. The smoky color, not necessarily this, it wasn't an Xzone deal, it was just some sort of stick bait, but he said it was a smoky shad color like this with reflective flake in it. And they were also using orange, which I thought was interesting. I don't know if that's like a bass, hybrid bass, yellow bass type thing, but they said they destroyed them on these little 5. Maybe they were using 4s, I don't remember, but I remember the colors. We stood and talked for a while. Super nice gentleman, but I just like that color. Not a color you see very often, and I feel like around shad spawn and stuff, I think that guy could do some work. And last up, one of my all-time confidence colors, either green pumpkin with like a little bit of green in it or a little bit of purple. That's what this one is. Green pumpkin purple, again in that 5-inch. You know, your standard stick bait type deal. Great little profile to it, but one of my all-time favorite fish catchers. Green pumpkin with a little green or green pumpkin with some purple. I think this is going to be killer. Wacky rigged. Okay, almost to the end here. Now this is a Punisher craw. You did see me throw this last year. I want to say straight black, or maybe it was just green pumpkin I grabbed on a Tackle Warehouse order, but these guys, I wanted to grab a couple more just because they're such a cool little deal. Now, of course, they call it the punch craw, and they do point out there that these do have the floating claws. This was called black and blue laminate. So you can see it's like black with blue flake on the top, then you flip it over and it's like a blue, almost like a June bug with blue flake through it. But really cool little finesse jig trailer with those floating claws. Those claws are going to go up. And I don't put this whole thing on a finesse jig. I'll cut maybe an inch of it off just so that finesse jig hook kind of comes out here before the head. Just a really cool, good, slender profile. Now you can see it does have the legs on there to displace a little bit more water, but it's very streamlined. Obviously, you know, this is meant for punching. That way, with that profile right there, it can go right through the mat and come right back through. There's not a bunch of crazy long legs or big tails. Guys like a more compact, slender bait when they're trying to punch through vegetation and such. You could use this, you know, around kind of the brushy wood. It's not real long. You know, that's always the concern, is you're going to get wrapped up. So peg your weight, flip this in some brush and work well. But like I said, I really liked it for those little finesse jigs. It's just kind of a cool little small profile. I even clipped off all these leg deals, bit like an inch of it off there, and just put that on. Cool little finesse jig trailer. Throw it around as a Texas rig. You know, you could drag it as like a Mojo or Carolina rig deal. Versatile little craw. I think it's just a little bit different profile than, you know, the normal, you know, kind of the rage tail type flappy deals, but I don't know, a little bit different. And then I also got this in peanut butter jelly. So you can see that there, that brown, and then of course the purple. I'm telling you, black and purple's underrated. Brown and purple, I honestly don't throw a ton of. I don't know why. I don't throw peanut butter and jelly a lot, but it had the purple on it and it caught my eye. I was just gonna get green pumpkin, but I'm like, you know what? Let's go with that color, a little peanut butter jelly. Okay, the last thing in the box. Now, speaking of finesse jigs, this was actually one of the other new lures that they put out. The lure itself isn't new, but it's a new size. And I was thinking for finesse jigs, 3.5-inch Adrenaline Bug Junior. Now, in the springtime, you don't want something that has a ton of crazy action, right? Colder water, I go with something that has less action. Check out that little dude. Throw him on. Do I have a finesse jig? Hold on. Yeah, okay, grabbed a little ball-headed finesse jig here. I think this is one of those easy jigs, similar to the War Eagles, just a little different though. So with this guy, these are 3.5 inches. You can see there, not a big profile on these at all. I'm not even gonna bite any of this off. Hopefully this isn't rigged upside down. If it is, don't yell at me. Oh, it definitely is. The eyes are gonna be on the bottom. Fish aren't gonna notice. So that's what we're looking at there. Look at that nice slim little profile. You can see they have like the little leg deals there that come off. The back kind of comes to a V, but again, depending on these, I've done it both ways. Usually I split them apart, but there was a day this year where I didn't even do that. Those fish didn't care. They were biting out every action. But you can see you can fork that tail on back so it looks like a couple little claws. So you can see good slender profile. Great, great, great little finesse jig trailer. I think that's probably why they made it. I don't know, does it say? No, they didn't say, but honestly, there's a lot you could do with this. A little small finesse jig trailer like I've got here, a little small finesse Texas rig, you know, put a little 1/8 ounce weight on here. If you've got some finicky bass, throwing that around. Again, like the Mojo or a split shot rig, which is like a really downsized Carolina rig. You've got a split shot or a little weight, and then a hook back here with just your plastic. So it's really just a downsized Carolina rig. Another great thing for like that with these little finesse plastics. So super cool little thing. I'm excited to throw that one. That is green pumpkin with blue in it. Is that what they call it? Yep, green pumpkin blue flake. I'm glad that they made this little size. This little size is great on little jigs like this. So I got that color, and then also the black and blue. So just your regular black with blue flake. So I definitely think those will do some work. Oh, they do even have like the little legs on the side. You know that? Deep, 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 deep. But comment below, let me know what your favorite lure out of all of these happens to be. I don't know, I feel like the one flying under the radar might be this Whiplash shad. I think I'm honestly most excited to throw that one, simply because of my love-hate relationship with the fluke. I like them, but a lot of times I'll just go to a regular stick bait. You know, I don't want to mess with kinked up, crazy looking fluke deals, but as you can see, I've put these in and taken them out a few times, and that tail, it's not one that's going to get stuck. It's a, you know, a different type of plastic that's not going to be all weird looking. So just a really neat profile to it. I bet that really whips, you know, when you work a soft jerkbait, you're, you know, kind of walking it back and forth like a darting bait fish. I bet that's going to have great action on it. So excited to see what that one does. Oh, and you can notice on here, it does not say that it floats, right? Because it's a fluke. You want that to sink down. So there's different fall rates and stuff you can mess with. You could always add a little weight, but I'm throwing these weightless, and I definitely think those will catch some, at least Debo dinks around here. So comment below and let me know what your thoughts are, if they have anything else. I know they're still kind of new to the market. I'm excited to try it, but that's it from me. Tonight's subscribe fishing friend is my guy, James Smackin' Bass. Thank you, man, for always supporting and watching. We were talking back and forth the other night. Good guy. Thank you everybody else out there for watching and supporting. It does mean a lot to me, but I need to get this footage moved over. I still have to edit tonight to try to get this up for you tomorrow. So thank you all so much for watching again. It always means the world to me. I would not be here without all of you, so I want to make sure that's clear. But again, thank you all so much for watching. Until next time.